Welcome to the new era in dog training. I'm Linda Michaels, and I'd like to take you on a tour of my new book, The Do No Harm Dog Training and Behavior Handbook. This is the book that I wish someone had written for me as a dog trainer and behavioral consultant. So I've written an easy-to-use reference and practical manual all in one, providing solutions to both simple and complex behavior problems. My book illustrates the most effective methods endorsed by the greatest minds in dog training and behavior. The book deserves a spot on the top shelf of every force-free dog trainer's library as a reference book, in my opinion. So let me show you how you and your clients can benefit from having a copy close at hand. I have packed my book with as many fascinating things about dogs, needs, practical step-by-step instructions for both class training and behavioral consulting on the more difficult and emotional problems. And I have supported everything I've written with scientific citations so that you too can make the case for force-free, do no harm dog training and back it up with evidence at your fingertips. So, who am I and how am I qualified to publish a book of this scope and breadth? I have an advanced degree in psychology and research conducted in the area of behavioral neurobiology, which is the study of brain anatomy and brain function, which I have found to be of some help in understanding dog behavior. I see my role in dog training as one that cannot be separated from dog animal welfare, directly addressing the issues of painful collar devices such as shock, prong, and choke collars, as well as dominance, aversive, punitive methods of dog abuse that masquerade as dog training. I see myself acting as a catalyst that is a bridge between the worlds of research, pet-related professionals, and pet parents to deliver accurate information about the motivations of dogs and to teach others how to communicate with our dogs in a dog-friendly language that our dogs can understand. I have also been rated a top 10 magazine best dog trainer in the United States, and I have 5 years of shelter rescue rehabilitation experience with dogs, wolf dogs, and some of the research Belaya foxes. And you can see Journey right here. And I just need to tell you that working with wolf dogs was one of the highlights of my career and one of the highlights in my life as well. The experience that I had, however, working and volunteering at a shelter laid the foundation for all of the work that I do today. I am the founder and head admin of the 50,000 member Do No Harm Dog Training Facebook group, and I invite you to please come and join us there. I'm a very hands-on admin. I'm a certified veterinary assistant, was the flagship Victoria Stillwell licensed consulting representative in Southern California, and have appeared as a featured expert in Huffington Post Live, Gawker.com, Wolf Dog Radio, the Pet Professional Guild, World Services, and a recent private presentation to 15,000 Facebook employees on the topic of going back to work, post-COVID, separation anxiety, and your dog. And I am very proudly a PPG certified trainer. I am the creator of the landmark infographic, The Hierarchy of Dog Needs. And here it is. The hierarchy of dog needs is an adaptation of Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. It's available in 12 languages now and has been used by veterinary behaviorists in veterinary conferences, trainers at all levels, speakers, bloggers, and authors. It's been published already, and is used by pet parents as well. One of the most memorable emails that I received was from a pet parent who printed out the hierarchy of dog needs and told me that she had it posted on her refrigerator so that she could refer to it often to make sure that she was meeting her dog's needs and using force-free practices to do so. So who is the book written for? The same as the hierarchy of dog needs. In animal welfare, there are 5 freedoms, the 5 domains, and now there are 5 needs represented in the hierarchy of dog needs. So why did I write the book? I wrote it as a teaching tool, a reference book to support force-free care and training with evidence in a practical handbook. I throw a wide net. The book is a big book, 325 pages, 80 photographs, and 23 pages of scientific citations to help force-free advocates establish standards of care and best force-free practices, arranged in an easy-to-follow roadmap. How to use the hierarchy of dog needs graphic, and the handbook is illustrated in a chapter called For the Pet Professional, which is loaded with examples for presentations and how to teach others on a great variety of topics. I am very proud of some of the endorsements that I've received, and particularly, of course, by the foreword by Dr. Mark Beckoff, PhD in animal behavior, as well as the endorsements by Lisa Tenzin-Dolma, the founder of the ISCP, and of course, Nikki Tudge, the founder and president of PPG. And I must tell you that Pat Miller's endorsement made me cry. So what's in the book? A lot. There's a chapter on proper nutrition. Proper nutrition is the first item on the hierarchy of dog needs. So I talk about a species-specific diet, about a biologically appropriate diet, and nutritionally balanced diet. There's a chapter on veterinary and grooming visits and how to accomplish these visits with consent from your dog. There's doggy enrichment land, which is shown right here, an enhanced environment. And as you can see, Bo, my volunteer, has everything that he needs and wants in the doggy enrichment land. There's a chapter on how to break up a dog fight, force-free, how to recognize red flags in aggression, and very importantly, an aggression treatment plan for seasoned trainers. This is truly what I wish I had had when I first started taking aggression cases. And I'll be talking more about this in just a moment, as well as a comprehensive separation anxiety treatment lesson plan. Also, a discussion of allergies and working with your veterinarian, what you can do at home to help your dog who is suffering. And a very popular and important enrichment tool, sensory gardens, which I will also talk about more in a moment. So the doggy enrichment land is so versatile. You can use it for greetings, so that your dog has calm greetings with visitors, giving your dog the time and the space your dog needs in order to accept visitors to your home. The doggy enrichment land can be used for separation anxiety, to practice frequent separations while you are at home. It can be used for dog zones and baby zones, and also importantly for house training, for containment. So, how is the book organized? In the introductory section, I discuss the do no harm ethical codes. These do no harm codes are available per the American Veterinary Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, the American Medical Association. And so we want to look at what these codes represent and how they mandate individuals practicing to use do no harm techniques. Also, there is a definition of force-free training, which is a big topic. I often get asked this question, what is force-free training? Well, the PPG, the Pet Professional Guild, has operantly defined what force-free training is and what it is not. And the hierarchy of dog needs complements this with best practices and meeting needs. So I've also included in the book the new American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior position statements on humane dog training, as well as the American Animal Hospital Association wonderful resources that are available, and also the fear-free veterinary criteria. In the book, you will find that the table of contents is very thorough, and I have a sample for you here of what's included in the aggression chapter, the biggest chapter probably of the book. And it's very detailed so that you can find subjects of interest very easily. In addition, there is an index which will also help to make your use of the handbook more efficient. Part 1 of the book focuses entirely on the hierarchy of dog needs, all of the needs and all of the items that are on the pyramid. Part 2 is about setting your dog up for success. Part 3, good manners and basic training, the nuts and bolts of operant conditioning. And Part 4, when things go wrong, the problems. So here we have a cutout of the hierarchy of dog needs, just so you can see each level and each item that has a chapter in the part 1 of the book. Proper nutrition, as I mentioned, is a hot topic today and something that all pet parents and professionals need to understand better. Sufficient air, I talk about our brachycephalic breeds and how hypothermia can affect them. Indoor shelter, it's very important as a need to protect our dogs from insects, snakes, hyperthermia outdoors, and other hazards as well. In part 1 is also the section on gentle grooming, because that's in the hierarchy of dog needs. Gentle veterinary care is very important. Your dog's first experience with these professionals will shape relationships with humans on down the line. And proper dental care, something that is too often ignored. The emotional needs chapter discusses security, understanding attachment styles. What is an insecure attachment, and how does abandonment lead to insecure attachment? Also, the subject of love is discussed, and it's really convenient that a couple of very prominent scientists have recently published books with the words love and dogs in the title. So I feel vindicated that love has been on the hierarchy of dog needs as a need from day one. Trust. It's very important that we establish trust with our dogs. And I talk about how trust is easily broken. And also in this section on emotional needs, I talk about how dogs have the brain of a toddler. That is exploring the functional MRI research by Dr. Gregory Burns, who discovered that dogs have the impulse control of a 2 to 3 year old child. And that's evidence now. We know that. The social needs section discusses bonding with people and dogs. So we discuss social learning during developmental stages, as well as throughout your dog's life, and also the importance of play, which we have just learned recently. And I've included the rules of fair play by Dr. Mark Bekoff from his observation of hundreds of hours of dogs at play in the dog park. And so here are some of those rules. Dogs ask first. Do you want to play? Dogs should be honest in fair play. They don't try to trick the other dog and then go for a bite to the legs. Dogs need to follow the rules in fair play. And dogs also admit when they're wrong, generally with the play bow. And right here, I have a sample for you in a video of fair play between a couple of roadie clients of mine, a roadie puppy and Big Brother. So let's just take a look.
This is a great example of appropriate adult dog, new puppy play. The adult dog, you can see, has lied down. So he's on the level of the puppy. He's willing to change levels. His body language is
So you can see we talk about, I discuss handicapping and what it looks like. You know, if a puppy squeals, the adult dog backs off, or any dog, an adult dog play, the same thing. So let's talk about desensitization and counter conditioning to triggers in the environment. Desensitization is a systematic graduated exposure therapy plan, and it is the gold standard for desensitization to treat triggers, developed by Dr. Joseph Volpe in the 50s and based upon the counter conditioning theories of Ivan Pavlov that you're generally familiar with. And it's often called DNCC in dog training. The basis for these treatments are to, number one, keep your dog under the threshold of reactivity, and then to increase the intensity of the stimulus as long as your dog remains under threshold. In the cognitive needs chapter, I discuss choice, consent, problem solving, looking at the intelligence of dogs, which is quite different than in the way that we judge intelligence in humans. Dogs are much smarter than we are in many ways, particularly in terms of scent reception. Talk about enrichment and how important that is for you to provide for the well-being of your dog, and novelty. Part 2 of the book, setting your dog up for success, starting with helping clients and pet parents find a dog that fits their family before they fall in love with a puppy or a rescue dog. So setting up criteria to do that. I discuss adopting a dog and how exactly to select and identify a reliable breeder. What questions should you be asking? What are you looking for specifically? And also how, importantly, to avoid puppy mills. Okay, we want to look at how to avoid heartache for your clients and for our pet parent dogs. And this starts with how to choose a dog trainer. And the title of the chapter that discusses this is Buyer Be Wary. How to choose a veterinarian and how to practice at home. What you should be looking for in your first visit with this primary relationship. How to choose a groomer and how to practice at home, because it's a pet parent's responsibility to help out here, and what to look for and to do on your first visit with your dog. Also, I discuss socialization. So important to look at the sensitive periods of socialization. And most pet parents these days know that they should socialize their dogs, but they don't know how to do it, and too often take their dogs into overwhelming and flooding situations, and the socialization backfires. So we don't want that to happen. I also talk about dog park safety tips. Should your dog be a candidate for a dog park, and you understand that safety and whether your dog is having fun are essential to going to a dog park, I provide some tips on how you may do so more safely. Enrichment and body language. I talk about grazing games, a term that I coined, and the importance of scavenging and how scavenging, a natural behavior for dogs, can be used to change emotions as well as for distraction and providing positive associations and reinforcement. A discussion of body language that every client and every pet parent should learn about so they can understand when flooding may be occurring, and also what tonic immobility looks like. This is generally known as a shutdown in dog training, but it is often confused with calmness. And again, the sensory garden, very important for enrichment and a fun thing for you to do with your dog. And so on the subject of fun and sensory garden, take a look at this photo here. We're talking about creating a space for your dog at home in the yard where your dog can de-stress and decrease anxiety. So if you're considering re-landscaping your yard, you want to try to take your dog's needs into consideration, and you can create a beautiful environment that can be fun for every person and every dog in your household. Sensory gardens and yards provide exploration and exercise opportunities for your dog. And we look at enrichment, how to enrich the environment for all of the senses. And some things you may want to include are digging pits, a fountain, and if you can't afford that, a kiddie pool will bring your dog an equal amount of enjoyment. You can cut trails if your dog likes to do zoomies. Cutting a path around the perimeter of your yard can serve to help encourage that. Tiered levels in your sensory garden. You can use hollow logs, hay bales, and a bird feeder if you do not have a bird dog. And also how to plant a garden filled with non-toxic enrichment for your dog. And a list is provided. And of course, you want to check everything that's already in your garden for non-toxicity. Part 3. This is the nuts and bolts of training. Used to be called obedience. It is now called good manners and basic training. So here in this part of the reference manual, I discuss the top 10 do's and don'ts for successful house training. And I describe and define training techniques, capturing, luring, shaping, Premack principle, and also what I consider trainer secrets, like how do we do it? How to use real life reinforcement, how to remove the lure quickly and effectively, how agility trainers link behaviors together, and how we can use those principles in training any dog, how to use alternate reward reinforcement and random reward reinforcement, and the clicker training option as well. So there are rules for clicker training, but also each skill has the timing of the clicker included in the roadmap, as well as using a verbal marker as an alternate. So in this part of the book, puppy no bite is included. And I teach an alternate behavior to puppy biting that I call kiss kiss. And I have a video here of Wolf Dog Nova learning kiss kiss.
You're going to stand up here and get it. Come on. Good.
Actually, she taught me to come down to her level. Because wolf dogs are very smart.
So that if she mouths your hand, you can automatically put it in a fist, and what she will remember if you practice this with her, and you say, kiss, 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 kiss. Okay. Kiss, kiss. You're going to stand up here and get it.
So you can use, hand targeting or whatever you wish as an alternate or incompatible behavior to puppy biting. But I like that one. I found it works very well. So in the basic skills chapter, of course, we discuss calm greetings and no jump, how to teach alternate behaviors for jumping. Also, name response, what I think of as one of the most important skills your dog can learn. and naturally sit down, settle, which is now being used as a desensitization method for cats in the household, for example, or for prey animals. Wait, stay, of course, and come, the rocket recall, and whistle recall. This is a video I just want to show you of one of my wolf dog clients who came down from the mountains to visit me and really wanted to teach Smokey, his wolf dog, how to come, which was a big problem for him. So we did that pretty quickly, and he sent me this video. He was so thrilled with Smokey's progress. So watch this.
Smokey, come. Good boy, look at you. You had to call him that time.
Yeah. So, and basic skills, of course, leash walking skills and dog friendly equipment. Now, part 4, when things go wrong. Here I provide treatment plans for trainers. The most important one to me is the aggression treatment plan. There's also a treatment plan for allergies, barking, dogs and babies for the prospective new parents, fear, and importantly, separation anxiety. So avoiding aggression, avoiding problems is paramount to me in training. And so one of the ways that we can do this is by teaching pet parents how to introduce a new dog into the home. So I put this in this chapter because it is so needed. So I teach the smell no see, see no touch method, graduating to dragging leashes, and then alternatively meeting on neutral territory outdoors. The aggression treatment plan. I talk about prevention, assessment, and treatment. What exactly should behavioral consultants provide in an aggression case? So I include my assessment intake for bite cases and difficult cases, explaining how to assess bites, because we want to keep you safe when you go into a bite case, and make sure that you know how to do that and how to keep the other humans safe and the dog safe and avoid problems. I describe a functional analysis, giving a short outline, as well as providing you with a liability contract sample, something every aggression treatment trainer needs in their toolbox, as well as a veterinary behavior report sample. If you're working with a veterinarian and getting referrals for bite cases, you want to know how to apprise them of your progress. So treatments, techniques, and tips for desensitization and counter-conditioning for aggression cases. Working below threshold, how to do that. The open bar, closed bar technique. How to do pop-ins, step by step. And very importantly, sibling rivalry, more commonly known as multi-dog aggression, multi-home dog aggression. And I teach the no jealousy game. Sibling rivalry is one of the most difficult types of cases that I take. And in addition, I wanted to give you a protocol for what we call frustration reactivity. Those pet parents whose dogs bark and lunge, but that's because they're overly enthusiastic and they want to go greet everyone. We need to know how to teach them to get calm and reward calm with greeting. I also discussed the red zone dog myth. I include a do not list for aggression, and there's just a few mentioned here, and primarily do not allow anyone to use dominance training with your dog. Don't frighten your dog. Don't approach an aggressive dog, and don't run away from one. And also, I don't do collar grabs because I think it's a good way to get bit, but I know many trainers train for this because people will grab collars. But that goes back to point one: do not allow anyone to use those methods with your dog. Don't allow kids to hug your dogs like this, and don't put your hands in a food bowl when your dog is displaying this type of body language, and more. I discuss a chapter on resource guarding, and right here I have shown you the dog property laws, which are so cute but so true. If I like it, it's mine. If I can take it from you, it's mine. If it looks remotely like mine, it's mine, etc., etc. This is a really useful list. In this chapter, I look at food bowl guarding, the importance of hand feeding, and how hand feeding in force-free positive reinforcement do no harm training establishes trust between human hands and the dog, and how important it is. I teach you how to trade up, as well as how to work with resource guarding between siblings in the home. The other treatment plans that I provide are for allergies. So we look at allergens both in the environment, allergies to fleas, and diet, and what you can do at home, working with your veterinarian, barking, why dogs bark, how to decrease barking, and what not to do, a dogs and babies treatment plan, encouraging pet parents to start early, preparing their dog for the change, as well as I provide a treatment plan for separation anxiety. First, we want to do an assessment, then look at a setup, a doggy enrichment land setup, and how to provide comfort items to load that environment with things that will make your dog feel safe. And then the treatments, of course, frequent separations, extending duration and distance, starting while you are at home. I discuss changing routines and desensitization to triggers and how to do that. I also include a what not to do regarding separation anxiety treatment plans. Never punish. Don't allow your dog to cry it out. Research has shown that leaving your dog to cry it out creates trauma. Don't change routines suddenly. This is a behavioral disorder that needs to be approached in what I call baby steps, very small increments of duration and distance. And don't leave your dog home alone during treatment. So I encourage you to please order your copy of the Do No Harm Dog Training and Behavior Handbook. It will be available on January the 11th on Amazon, and it will be carried by Dogwise as well. In the meantime, if you want to get a mini version of the handbook, I have the Do No Harm Dog Training manual available, which you can find by going on my Facebook group or just by Googling Linda Michaels Dogs. And I'm going to offer a discount code for half off if you use Geek Week. So I want to thank you very much for your attention and hope that you have a wonderful conference, summit, Geek Week, and I'll be there.